What's up, guys? Mickle here, and we are right around the corner from massive institutional FOMO into the cryptocurrency market. We are about to enter a new paradigm of crypto where institutions are competing to sell their customers cryptocurrency related products. In this video, I want to talk about the impact ETFs are going to have on the cryptocurrency market because I think this is severely underappreciated right now. So many people are saying these ETFs really don't matter. What really matters is utility. I want to show you what really happens when you have an ETF for a brand new emerging asset class, because I think it's absolutely going to shock you. I also want to show you that it won't just be Bitcoin. We will 100% see XRP ETFs in the near future. And in fact, I want to show you a leak that I think ultimately proves an XRP ETF is a lot closer than many people think. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoyed these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I'm pretty sure there's only like a couple days left of the Uphold 50,000 XRP giveaway. So if you haven't signed up for that, go through the link in the description of this video. It's 50,000 free XRP. I think everyone should at least be taking the chance on that. That's a lot of XRP. So I want to jump into this video and just quickly talk about a tweet from Stuart Alderati that I think is really important, because one of the things that was really hard to predict at the beginning of the year was how the courts were going to react to the cryptocurrency market. We all understand there is so much bad press in the cryptocurrency industry. Mainstream media drags this industry through the mud. We know that our government drags it through the mud. And one of the things that was really hard to predict was how would the courts actually react to this industry? I was really worried at first that the courts would just side with the regulators. The courts would say, okay, you know what? This industry is a little sketchy. The regulators are probably just trying to protect consumers. We should probably side with the regulators. This stuff is really complex and we just can't fully wrap our head around it. But the fact is that that actually hasn't been what's happened. Instead, the courts have been extremely skeptical of the SEC, and I want to talk about exactly why this is going to be so important, because it looks like we could actually be right around the corner from real cryptocurrency regulations. So I just want to go through this tweet real quick from Stuart Alderati, because it's really going to show you how bad the SEC has been losing. So this is from the Ripple case. Court finds that the SEC demonstrated hypocrisy by making inconsistent arguments to the court and not acting out of a faithful allegiance to the law. This is in the Coinbase case. Court agrees that the SEC defaulted on its duty to respond in good faith to Coinbase's petition for cryptocurrency rulemaking. This is from the Grayscale case. Court finds the SEC's inconsistent treatment of similar products arbitrary and capricious. And last of all, this is from a brand new case, SEC versus Debtbox. Court orders SEC to show cause why it should not be sanctioned for making false and misleading representations to the court. So right here, we see that the SEC has been getting absolutely annihilated in court to cryptocurrency companies. And the reason why this is so important is because a year ago, this entire industry did look like fraud. We had FTX, we had Terra Luna, we had Three Arrows Capital, and we had cryptocurrency companies getting hacked on the daily. We had cryptocurrencies rugging and go to zero. We had institutional cryptocurrency players stealing their clients' assets and running away. And the SEC was running around saying, this industry is all fraud, it's all scams. Look what's happening. And it looked like the SEC was right, and I was worried the courts were going to think they were right. And if the courts started siding with the SEC, right, we would have been in a situation where Congress would have said, oh, well, this is looking really bad for the cryptocurrency industry. We need to pass really harsh regulations. But what we're seeing is the SEC has actually completely fallen on their face with their strategy. Rather than going after the actual fraud, rather than going after the actual bad players, instead, the SEC went after the good players. They went after Ripple, Coinbase, Grayscale, and lost those cases. And in the process, actually completely proved what they wanted to disprove. They proved that there are good players in this industry that could go to a court and beat them. This proves to regulators that, hey, it's not all fraud. It's not all bad players. It's not all bad actors. And in fact, there's players who are actually able to give their entire book over to the SEC and prove they have been doing the right thing. In my eyes, this is so important in getting the faith of big institutional money, in getting the faith of the regulators. Because now that we know that a company like Ripple, right, the SEC couldn't pin them down on anything, well, they're ultimately so much more safer in the eyes of Wall Street, in the eyes of the regulators. The SEC launched a 5-year investigation into Ripple, came away with nothing. The SEC launched an investigation into Coinbase, and they're getting their butt kicked. The SEC is proving there are good players here. They are proving that we need regulations to help these good players prosper. And something we learned just the other day is there are people in Congress who are very confident we will have real cryptocurrency regulations in the near future. Now, who knows where that's going to start? It might just be stable coins. It might just be rules that we don't even like. But at least we are moving in a direction where regulators are starting to understand that the SEC, right, has been wrong on it being all fraud. The SEC has been wrong on saying all these players are bad actors, and in fact, Congress needs to step up and pass rules to make sure the good players can actually continue building in this ecosystem. Overall, just a very important tweet from Stuart Alderati, and I think it's really important to understand while we have a lot of issues in the United States, the court system seems relatively uncorrupt, and in fact seems to be a big proponent of this industry. So now I want to move on and talk about the Bitcoin spot ETF and talk about what I think these ETFs are going to do to the market, because I really think they're being underappreciated. A lot of people come out and say you shouldn't be focused on ETFs, it's not real utility. I want to show you why I am personally very excited for the ETFs. So what we're learning right now is that it is very, very likely we have a spot ETF in the near future. It looks like, according to Bloomberg, we will have a spot ETF in early January. Now, this might be a little hopeful. I have no idea. Obviously, Bloomberg probably has a little more information than me, but to me, it's seeming obvious we will have a spot ETF at least in the next 6 months. Hopefully, Bloomberg's right and it is early January. But let's talk about what will a spot ETF do for the market. And I don't want to give you just my guess. I want to show you what happened when the first gold ETF was approved in the market. Take a look at this chart. This is what happened when the first gold ETF was passed on the NASDAQ. What we see is gold went on an exponential run, up almost 500%. And at this time, right, gold had already been around for hundreds of years. Some of the biggest countries in the entire world had their currencies backed with gold. So we already had massive allocations to gold, and the second an ETF was approved, it still went parabolic. Now, Bitcoin is in a completely different place. It's only 10 years old. This chart for gold goes back hundreds of years. Bitcoin goes back 10 years, and no governments really own it. No big institutions really own it, and we're about to see an ETF. Imagine what a Bitcoin ETF is going to do for the price if this is what it did for gold when gold was a significantly bigger asset. So many people are saying, oh, it's already priced into Bitcoin, it's all hype now, nothing's actually going to happen, but that wasn't the case for gold. We saw that despite the fact that people likely knew a gold ETF was right around the corner, the price still went parabolic when institutional investors and retail investors were actually able to buy into the ETF. This is what's right around the corner for Bitcoin, only in my opinion, to a much bigger magnitude. The other thing we need to understand is gold has always been manipulated and people purposely hold it down. They really can't do that with Bitcoin because it's on chain. We can see what's happening and we can see if manipulation is occurring. So this is right around the corner, and just understand it's not only going to be for Bitcoin. Earlier today, we actually saw more signs that an XRP ETF could be very close. Now, this is not some official filing or anything, but these things just keep popping up. Ripple XRP Liquid Index, XRPLX. Now, this is pretty similar to what an ETF would be based on the definition of this product, and it's not live yet, it's not registered yet, but these things are popping up everywhere. And in my opinion, it is only inevitable before we get an XRP ETF. Obviously, it's not going to be the first one. It's going to be Bitcoin, the same way as everyone gets in the cryptocurrency industry and starts with Bitcoin. But guys, imagine when Ripple IPOs and all these different institutions are selling their customers Ripple IPO shares. Don't you think they would want to have the XRP ETF for that? Don't you think they want to say, hey, not only can we sell you Ripple shares, but we can also sell you an ETF for the cryptocurrency they use for their cross-border payment system? And guys, at that point, the narrative will completely change. This company just beat the SEC. This company has billions of dollars of XRP on their balance sheet and is going to be IPOing at record prices. It is going to be a no-brainer for these institutions to also have the XRP ETF. And I don't think it's any coincidence that these things are popping up everywhere. Guys, the ETF race is about to absolutely explode. Every institution needs to be first. The biggest ETF, the ETF with the best ticker, is going to be the one that wins. In 4 to 5 years from now, you're not going to be investing in the 5th biggest XRP ETF. You're going to be investing in the biggest XRP ETF. So the second one institution says, hey, we want an XRP ETF, every other institution is forced to capitulate and join the race. And then they are going to market it like crazy. They want their customers in. They want their customers to help create the biggest ETF for them, and they want the fees. Each one of these ETFs is going to have a fee, and they want as many customers in these ETFs as possible. What we are watching is a paradigm shift. Rather than these institutions being against this industry, they are joining our side and they are incentivized to do so. A lot of people say, oh, the institutions will never actually help. Oh, they'll never be on our side. Guys, they make money by being on our side in this case. They are about to become a marketing arm for the cryptocurrency industry as they all fight against each other to advertise and pull more people into these different products. Overall, I think this is a paradigm shift for the industry. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. And I think people are really underappreciating just how big ETFs can be for sectors and just how big they can be for a nascent asset class like crypto. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.